Big news for XRP and HBAR holders. Will this CEO think so? Along with the stablecoin launch that could change everything for XRP. We'll talk price action at the end, along with the chart that you need to see. Can you identify it? And Charles said that Ripple should be buying Circle, not Coinbase. Here's the reason why.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Happy Sunday to you all. And Charles is back on the old interweb talking about Ripple and buying Circle. And I gotta admit to you, he's got a great point on why Ripple should acquire Circle. But before we get into that and the red up on the screen, your comments come first. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. Maybe I'll share it at the beginning of the next video. Alex Renard says, you're my most watched YouTube channel. Keep up the excellent work you do. And thank you for how relevant what you bring is. That's right, I bring you the hottest news as it breaks. That's why you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. Be too busy. Love the name. Says Klaus, you know, buddy, I really don't envy your job. Keeping it all relevant and interesting when most of the time crypto is just a shit show, but somehow you manage. You earned my respect, sir. And no, we're going to have a little fun today because I got a chart to show you. We'll see if you can recognize the crypto by the chart alone. Martin Tibereau, yeah, I'm going to pronounce it without the Canadian accent. Says Klaus is like the Judge Dredd of crypto. Ooh, with the little chart emoji. We're going to have some chart fun here coming up soon. But first, Bitcoin sitting at 107,770. ETH is 25.18. BNB at 667. Almost Soul is at 172. 8 is at 75.2. And if the rain lets up, I'm going to have a track session today, ladies. XRP at 230. Well, Hype is at, well, I'm not going to cover Hype. XLM is right around that 28 cent mark. We're going to talk HBAR pricing at the end as well. But first, this chart right here. What is it? Lifetime chart of this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll come to it at the end of the video. But first, think a billion times bigger for Ripple and HBAR. That's right. Bank Social CEO John Wingate, the CEO of Bank Social and a Hedera developer, made a highly bullish statement on X in regards to HBAR and XRP. Although he said to think a billion times bigger when it comes to XRP, he later revealed that he does not translate particularly for its price. Given the growing size and loudness of the XRP army, his post quickly picked up traction in the space and became the talk on CryptoX for the past day or so. Let's go to his tweet, actually. And it's all what everyone linked in the description. Well, this is what John said. President of HODL just had a meeting with the Ripple team. A great meeting. Maybe the greatest meeting in the history of international settlements. That's a pretty big statement right there. Hedera and HBAR are still a huge part of the strategy, and now so is XRP. You're not thinking big enough, he said. Think big, then a billion times it. Someone said, can you please explain to me how Ripple, Hedera, and Bank Social fit into place? Like I'm Uncle Joe. Ooh, that was a good dig here. No, because Uncle Joe knows. Ooh, that was kind of funny. HBAR, back-end ops, state checks AppNets. XRP for international money movement into certain jurisdictions. BSL for loans, lending, staking, and social governments round it out. Together, they create a new financial paradigm. Basically, what my guy is saying is HBAR and XRP are going to build the future of finance. Do you believe John Wingate, or is he just blowing more smoke up your Memorial Day weekend booties? Let me know in the comments down below. Now the hot take from Charles, and I got to admit, I agree with what Charles is saying here. Cardano founder says Ripple would make the space better by buying Circle. I agree. Why? Because I don't trust Brian Armstrong. During a Sunday Ask Me Anything session on YouTube. Hey, that's today. It's the breaking news. That's why you hit the subscribe button. So we can beat Papa John's and eat a pizza. Yes, and rub it. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson downplayed the antitrust concerns surrounding Ripple's potential acquisition of Circle. Hoskinson spoke favorably of a potential deal, arguing they would ultimately make the space better. I think it would make the space better. There's like a Coinbase A16Z Circle Mafia where they've built an ecosystem and it's self-serving in that ecosystem. And if you're outside of it, you get completely blacklisted and it's hard to get listed, it's hard to get liquidity, and it's hard to get a stablecoin. Ripple and XRP could break apart the existing monopoly and create more diversity, according to Hoskinson. Essentially what he's saying is Coinbase is one of the bad players out there. And how many of you have been screwed by Coinbase or know someone who's been screwed by Coinbase? I remember when the markets were pumping about a year ago and people couldn't access Coinbase. Yeah, and Coinbase puts their profits first before their customers. See, I take care of you before I take care of myself. He continues and says, I'll think there'd be a better custodian, because remember, Ripple's into custody too. And then of some people, especially a Circle, Hodgkinson added. Bloomberg first reported in late April that Circle rejected a $5 billion acquisition offer from Ripple because it was deemed too low. Hodgkinson said that he heard rumors that Ripple is willing to pay as much as $11 billion to acquire Circle. According to Fortune, Ripple and Coinbase are the current top contenders for acquiring Circle, with the latter seemingly having the upper hand due to its extensive ties to the company. Circle filed for an IPO in early April, and it seems like the fintech company still intends to go public, despite some reports of acquisition talks. Yeah, what we've heard is that Circle wants to go public. They don't want to go private, which means they want to go the IPO route. What are your thoughts on that? Now, let's keep going with the whole big Ripple news, and then we're going to talk some price action. Oh, by the way, that chart earlier, WorldCoin, Sam Altman, you're a piece of shit. By the way, you're seeing a lot of Sam Altman commercials on TV. Why? Because he's trying to screw more people over. Pump and dump, everyone. WorldCoin, did you get that chart right? Newly launched Xrp stablecoin could change everything for XRP. Okay. A MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoin, XRP, is now officially launched on the XRP ledger, a move that could reshape the future of XRP's utility and market relevance. Let me ask you a question. USDC was launched on Stellar's chain. Did that do anything for XLM? No, it didn't. See, I don't think any of these stablecoins really helped the native token. Because think about that. Has any launch of a stablecoin helped any of these native tokens right here? ETH has got a ton of stablecoins launched on its chain. Has it helped them all out? No, it hasn't. SWI has a ton. Has that helped out? No, it hasn't. ADA's got a bunch of stablecoins. Has that helped out? No, it hasn't. So, is this just another hype BS article? Sure seems like it. Just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to be negative Nancy, but the reality is there's a shit ton of stablecoin USDC launched on Stellar's chain. And the reality is when you look at the price, girlfriend, that sucks balls. So Big Daddy Klaus is going to say, no, that's not going to help us out at all. So now let's swing it on into some of our favorites here. And let's talk about HBAR price. Why? Because we're now in or getting close to the buy zone. Look at this. 18 cents for HBAR right now. You go to the 1-day chart, okay? Look at this. Sinking on down, 18 cents. Volume, 126 million, right? Volume is slowing down. Why? Memorial Day weekend. I told you that would happen. What did I tell you that my XRP volume target was for Memorial Day weekend? I said 1.7 billion. Let's click on it. And what is the volume for XRP? 1.68 billion. So there you go. We're right at our volume targets right there. Now go to the 1 month for HBAR and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. People are playing the pumps and the dumps, the dips and the tips. HBAR gets to that 22 cent mark. Players selling on off. They take the profits. Go to the 1 year chart and you're like, yo, we're getting kind of close to where we were before the November pumperoni. Well, no, we're not. We're still doing pretty good. We're still 4x up on that action. But the reality is we're still looking for any juicy news from the Hedera Foundation to get us there. Now, earlier in the video, I shared with you what John Wingate said. Said HBAR for backend op state checks, apps, etc. Is that helping out the price? No, it's not right now. We need something big, everyone. And I mean, we need something really juicy. Now, we did see that there were some buying opportunities earlier, and we know what happens with the tariff talks, right? Tariff talks push the price down on everything. But the reality is we need something. We need something or else this market is going to be stagnant and we'll be in the friend zone. Now, that being said, I think some of you out there can agree. This could be buy zone opportunity because you could easily buy at 18 cents, sell off above 20, make your 20% profit for short-term gains. Now that's if you're a short-term player, okay? Remember, people that watch this channel are into short-term, long-term games. We got some stackers out there like Frankie and others. If you want long-term, you're looking at this going, well, I don't know. I mean, we've been able to get HBAR sub 17. We've been able to get it sub 15. So it's kind of friend zone, but it's also a short-term play zone. Let me know, HBAR fans, what do you think of HBAR right now at 18 cents? Is that friend zone, or are we teetering on that buy zone? We're really close in my opinion, but I want to know from you. XRP price, we're floating right around 230. What did I tell you my targets were? 230 price, 1.7 billion, and that's exactly where we're at in this Memorial Day weekend. The crappy part about it was what? We were doing good up until the tariff word was used, and then boom shakalaka, there goes the dynamite. And remember the big article yesterday? Oh, 1 billion in volume on Coinbase. Oh, now look at the volume. 89 million. I told you that was a hype article. And whose comment did I bring up in the beginning? Martin's. Klaus is like, the judge dreaded crypto. That's right. Because I tell you out there that you got to be careful with all the hype articles. Because those hype articles try to make stuff sound better than it actually is. Now, a way you can tell if XRP is getting into the buy zone or not is looking at the Korean won pairing. It's only at 100 million in volume. So right now we're still in the friend zone, nowhere near the price where it's juicy enough to stack. XRP at 230 is nothing juicy because look, zoom out a little bit, and even a couple weeks ago you were able to buy it at like $2.10. So now we're back into the boring old friend zone. Volume sucks at 1.7 billion. 230 is meh price-wise, right? It ain't cheap enough for us to really stack because we know we can get it for cheaper. It ain't high enough to sell for profiteroni because we've seen we can sell it for $250 pretty easily. So we're stuck in the meh zone. Stablecoins launched on XRPL? No, I mean, it really doesn't bring any price action, doesn't it? Because there's no transactional burn that really gets us there. And come on, let's use other players out there. Stellar has a whole bunch of stablecoins on the chain, and it doesn't help them out price-wise. Sui has a whole bunch of stablecoins on their chain, as it doesn't crap for them either. Ada's got a whole bunch of stablecoins on their chain, and it hasn't helped them out with that either. So stablecoins launched on your chain are good for the ecosystem in terms of relevancy, but don't really help you out price-wise. What am I hoping for? Regs. We're going to have those discussions here in June. June 10th, by the way, is when those discussions start. I also want to hear from Trump something about the strategic reserves. Ever since we had the initial post from True Social, we haven't heard jack shit since. So, when are we going to get some good news? I don't know, but that's my job, to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. And when it happens, I will be glad to do it because right now, what are we in? We're in the boring zone, everyone. So poo-poo biz nacho. And what's happening now is exactly what I was afraid of. We would go into the Memorial Day weekend with a bit of boringness, both volume-wise and price-wise. And the crappy part about it is the market was doing so good, and then they had to mention the T word, and it just poops on us. Did you guess WorldCoin with Sam Altman, that scumbag? Because, yep, he's got commercials on TV again about his new business launch that he's doing. Just another cash grab for him to screw over more people and steal more privacy features. These players are all the same. They're just out there to bend you over. Now, what do you think, though, about the dude talking about the big meeting he had with Hedera and Ripple and all that kind of stuff? What do you think about that? Is that just more hype? Is that just more pumperoni of the butteroni with smokeroni, you jabronis? There's a lot of ronies going on today. I want to hear from you because honestly, I think we're going to have a pretty muted weekend all the way through until Tuesday. And then I think we're going to start getting some juicy action because we're going to start talking about regs. Not stablecoin regs. Well, yeah, we are going to keep talking about stablecoin regs because they are going to talk about that in the Senate. They're going to be debating it. But we're also going to be talking about regs for the rest of the crypto market. And that's good. That's going to start happening in June, and that's good because that's what we need for the rest of the market to frickin' roar. So I'm going to be happy to be bringing you that coverage. So, what are we going to end this video with? Well, you know exactly what we're going to end the video with. We're going to put the flashing light on behind me. I'm going to move the microphone out of the way. I'm going to take my camera. I'm going to flip it up. I'm going to rotate it over so y'all can see it. I'm going to say choo-choo what? I'm going to say choo-choo biznachos and biznach ahs for the female viewers. Catch y'all later.